All right, we're live. Hello, everyone. Yeah,
Hello.
thank you all for joining. Please, as usual, give us a few minutes for us to share our live feed, and we'll be with you shortly. All right. Okay.
While Miss Olivia is sharing the feed, I just want to apologize for our co-host, Miss
It's Molly.
Miss Molly Abongwa. She will not be around with us today. She said hi, so thank you all for your time. Thank you, Miss Olivia.
Yeah, I just sent the link to our page, so please share it while we wait.
Okay.
All right, let me see. Okay. I think I'm good. All right. So, Mr. Rita, do you want me to go ahead and pull in Dr. Tebow? What is that?
Oh yes, if you can join us, that'll be good. So Dr. Tebo, like you all saw, is our guest for today. We had him before. He's coming in today as a
Yes.
guest.
Mr. Dr. Tebow is an expert in medical biochemistry and
Mhm.
therapeutic medicine at health personnel. So let's welcome Dr. Tebow. Hello, Dr. Tebow. Nice seeing you again.
Hello, doctor. Oh.
Okay. So we'd like to apologize again before we start. Today, our internets are having the best of us. It's very
Mhm.
crappy, but we promise to keep it up. And again, today we're talking about checklist in relationship, Ms. Ereta. And before we start, I just want to say viewers' discretion is advised, 18 years and older. Again, viewers' discretion is advised, 18 years and older. Ms. Ereta, please go ahead. The topic.
Thank you, Miss Olivia, for that for saying that like two times. We know our show is about the global, is about everybody included. So, like we said, 18 and above. And here we have Dr. Tebo, like we all said, he's from Cameroon, West Africa. So he's one of our hosts. We had him before, and he's coming this time for a very interesting topic that deals with health. So, viewers, whatever comment you have for Dr. Tebo, whatever question you have for him, please drop it in the comment. Hello, Dr. Tebo. We're so glad and happy to see you.
Oh, it's a pleasure trying to uh, from wife to busy.
Dr. Tebo, we can barely hear you. I don't know if you are closer to your mic.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Hello, can you
Much,
hear me
much
now?
better. Much better.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was saying
I,
that I'm quite impressed to be with you once more again on this Mollie Show.
it is
Pleasure
a
is mine.
pleasure. It is a pleasure. I know there are some viewers who might not, who have not watched the previous episode that you were there. So can you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Okay. Yeah, I'm Dr. Harry J. Tebow. I'm an expert in medical biochemistry and therapeutic medicine. So I have a responsibility to carry out the clinical center in some program. to have some limits on around that have you that thanks of, of longer in life, health, train them how to help also take up with their
Thank you very much, Dr. Tebow. Again, please, we do apologize for our internet connection because Dr. Tebow, we were breaking up at some point, but we hope to get this this party started, as they say. All right. Dr. Tebo, today we are talking about checklists in relationships, and of course, we're glad you joined us because our first episode that we had, part one that we had about this, it was more like, okay, how does this guy looks? How much money does this guy make? Is he caring? Is he loving? What is he going to do and stuff like that? But we forgot a very important part of this. Uh, you know, taking into consideration: is this person healthy? What are the points that you think you can give to us about checklist in a relationship from the medical view?
Yeah, actually, we usually have three marital tanks which is done sometimes by social workers, sometimes done by religious leaders. The medical point of view encourage every to ensure they get themselves tested. So
We're sorry, viewers. It's like Mr.
can
Tebow is
have a
having.
series of
Okay,
complications
he's back.
kind of children will have if there is children. Hello, we can you get me now?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. I think that was much clearer than the beginning. So just yeah, wherever you are, I would just like to keep it that way.
Okay. So I was saying that we have to look at certain factors. Most importantly, poverty in family relationship must consider the health factor. And the aspect of health comes in what? To respect compatibility. Are these two persons compatible with their biology, the biological system that they have? Is it compatible to each other? We're not talking about their blood population, we're talking about the kind of genes I'm having, the kind of blood group I have. And they go with your own factor. Now, other aspects are involved, like some methods, though we are not discouraging people from getting married to those who are sick. We are not saying that those who are sick don't get married. There's get
Miss
married.
Olivia.
Don't look
Okay.
at financial or political like some many persons do. It's always very necessary to take it of person you are in a relationship, be it marriage or friendship, they help with primary and some other aspects that we despise, we like I stated earlier, consider the blood group and some other that are related to that can be inherited and transferred from one generation to the other. Look at this one. We look at the aspects because we must not treat one another. That is get
Please bear with us, viewers. I think Dr. Tibo is having trouble connecting back to the internet. We all understand how these things happen. But while we wait for Dr. Tebo to join us, Ms. Hereta, what do you think about a checklist from a health perspective? I know you're a nurse. What do you think about that? I think you're on mute, Miss Henrietta.
Yes. Like we said, we're sorry, Doctor. Oh, Doctor Tebow is back.
Okay. Dr. Temple, we do. I know the internet is. I think it has been buffering for a while. So, can you hear us?
Yes, I can get you well.
Yeah, and I think we can hear you well too. So I'm sorry we lost track for a little bit, but you can just give us a summary, of what you were saying.
Summarily, like I said earlier, I stated earlier, we have to consider factors, the health factors before getting into any relationship. For example, you don't have to get into a relationship with somebody who has a mental health problem. It means that if somebody is having a mental health issue, person that can be transferred from one to the other, you need to have to check that. A good example of this can be albinism. Somebody will not like to have a condition that have to do with albinism. Some other person might not want to have a condition that have to do with some other like sickle cell. So we always try to understand the need of the other person. It should be a mutual agreement. We are going in conscious, knowing fully that that partner is having that problem, health problem that cannot be handled medically in terms of good into that concept. Another factor we have is that there are so many different types of around. Though we have solutions like HIV has different problems that are solved, it's not too good to get involved with somebody who is HIV positive, for example, when you're not aware. It's wrong.
Hmm.
Because if you're getting married to a person with an HIV carrier, just an example, you should be aware, know your precaution, know what you're going for. But when you neglect that aspect of it, that can be infected and you can also exploit it. But there are some persons who prefer to get married, not even telling you they are positive, they are on medication. Later on in life, they will accuse you of their past several things like that for being the cause of getting them, contacting them, right? So we have to take those factors into consideration very much.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Tebo. Before I move to Ms. Hereta, thank you so much, our viewers. We have Mr. Ande Benedict all the way from Doha. Thank you. He says hello to the host. Thank you so much, Mr. Ande Benedict, for always joining. Um, Dr. Tebo, if I caught, because truly your speaker was a little low, so, but if I caught what you said, there are certain tests that people can do to determine some of these things before you get into a relationship with someone, right? And you choose whether you want it or not. You talk about like the albino and stuff like that. Somebody will want that, and somebody might not want it. So what you do is you can go ahead and do a test to determine this. That's just what I wanted to know.
Yes, we always recommend that you go to a doctor, a professional. The doctor will be able to identify if there are any compatibility because as we have different systems. So based
Hmm.
on the vital signs and other factors, the doctor will know what to take and what factors. Considering factors like age,
Mhm.
fertility, or those are things that we take into consideration. Let it not be a situation that A might need to have children in a relationship and B is not interested, meanwhile probably very sick. You need to get that your check. So that we notify each person to know what he or she is doing in that relationship. It's a very, very necessary factor.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Tebo. Ms. Erika, over to
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tebo. Like Miss Olivia said, you mentioned something about albino and a lot of other tests you can do to determine before you get married. Um, like Miss Olivia said, I'm in the medical field, and you mentioned something about sickle cell. That is so important. And most of us in Africa, We really don't do tests like that. And I know we have other ones. I don't know if you mentioned like the AIDS and all the other diseases, or did you just talk about the sickle cell albino? Hello, doctor.
Yes, I'm getting
Hello.
you
I'm
clearly.
sorry. Did you hear
The
me?
sickle cell condition of you talked you said I mentioned about sickle cell anemia is a condition of health that it stop when two persons who have two conditions have more problems. So it can be transferred from one condition to another.
Yeah.
Persons who come from families that should not get married for any circumstance.
So, do you mind explaining more to the viewers how this is done and what effect, like, what's the negative part of it? Because they just know sickle cell. Like, do you mind sharing to them, giving them some characteristics and what happens really, please?
Sickle cell anemia is a condition of health whereby you have your red blood cells depleted. You have a reduction in blood cells. You have a problem with your red blood cells. And the red blood cells are responsible for transporting oxygen within the body, food as well. The red blood cells particularly and specifically do transportation of oxygen. Now, if you have a reduction in that constant, it creates a serious problem in your health, whereby there will be energy drop and poor metabolic, there will be a lot of enzymes. So when you come from a family, let's say one of your parents had, means you are having those things that can cause you if you meet another person who have one of his or her parents that is having the same gene, can produce a child that will come complete of that gene. Which means
Okay.
say that you are the carrier of the gene, but you are not expressing the characteristics. You meet another partner who is a carrier of the gene and not expressing those characteristics. The two of you will come to contribute half gene of it, which will form one fold. And that one fold come with one of their children or more that might have dominant or dominant expressing the characteristics of this. That's where you child can usually very sick. And even in child doctor, he looks malnourished, he looks pale. Most often this transfusion, all those situations comes as a result of negligence during or prior before marriage. That's why
Oh, I think we lost. I think we lost Dr. Tebow there.
Yeah, we did.
Right. Yeah. Well, not a problem. Immediately he joins us, I'll pull him back on stage. But again, if you're joining us and you're watching us for your first time, this is the Mollie Show. Our topic today is checklist in relationship, and this is our part two of this topic, and we're doing it from a medical point of view this time around. So if you have questions, if you have
Mhm.
suggestions, if you have something that you went through and you want us to talk about it, please go ahead and drop it in the comment section. You can tell us, you can bring your idea here and we'll talk about it. And if you don't want to also talk about it, you can always send it in an inbox. And again, please, viewers' discretion is advised, 18 years and above. All right. So I tried to grab a few things Dr. Tabo was saying. It's very important. Mr. Rita made that statement that most of us in Africa, when we're getting married, when we're getting into that relationship, we don't consider going to the hospital to check nada. I think the last
Mhm.
check all of us did was okay when we're coming to the US, they had to do like the medicals. That's when we will
Mhm.
go because it is one of the criteria to travel to the US. So that's when we'll go there and go and make those tests. HIV was the number one, I think, at that
Yeah,
point.
it is.
And and it makes us understand that these are things that we need to do regularly and we need to talk to our children about it. Most of us we've gotten married already. We're already in this relationship with with your partner. And if there's anything that is wrong with me or my partner, hey, there's nothing we can do about it now because we're in it already. We already have children and stuff like that. But for others, especially our kids, our friends, that's the more people that you can reach out to let them know that before you get into a serious relationship, let's say you are dating this guy, right? I'm talking from a woman point of view, and you've noticed that it's getting serious. He's taking it to meet his family, he's taking it to meet his friends. He has started asking me questions like, when do you want us to go to the courthouse and stuff like that. There, it's going, the good direction. All of us want that. Let me not say all of us. Some people want it to lead to marriage. Majority wants it to lead to marriage. So when it gets to that point, what do you do? This is why we're talking about this topic today. I will not say I did it. I did not do it. I will not lie. But now that we know about everything that is happening in the world, what do you do with your partner? You go to the hospital. That's most of the tests that Dr. Teboh was talking about. Sickle cell was one of the big ones. You try to see, okay, let's go and test with this partner, this guy that I love so much. And I don't know about it. I know Miss Anita, maybe you can talk about that more. But I know if you discover that, hey, if you guys have kids, they are going to be carriers. I know most hospital advise this relationship not to go further, right? Most hospitals will say, or your doctor will tell you that, okay, yes, maybe you love this guy to death, maybe you love this girl so much, but the kids that you're going to bring into the world are going to be the ones to suffer. They're going to be sick and stuff like that. Nobody, no parents want to watch their child in pain or have them, going in and out of the hospital all the time. So again, we're putting it out there. These topics, they come from our viewers who have concerns about, the development, things that have been happening. So we're hoping that you can talk to your kids, talk to your friends, talk to your family members that, hey, before you get into a serious relationship with this person, there are a lot of tests that you need to do. Yeah, Mr. Rita, before you talk about that, shout out to Fortem Gilbert. Thank you so much for joining. He says, hello to the team. We don't have Dr. Tebow yet back on the call. So, Mr. Rita, what do you have to say about this?
Oh, thank you, Miss Olivia. I'm having some difficulties, but it's gonna be
Mhm.
okay. Um, yes. What Dr. Tebow was really talking is so important in the medical point of view, most especially with the sickle cell. I'm gonna relate to that because my husband is a sickle cell carrier. So before we got married, we had to go to Bingo. I'm from the Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into bingo and we did all the tests. To be honest, like Miss Olivia said, I've never done any tests in my life. By then I think I was 27-year old, and I've never done any AIDS test, nothing. I was so scared. I stayed there for the AIDS test, the sickle cell test, and everything. So when he came back, the doctor told us that he's a carrier. So I went back and I asked him, how many of you are carriers in your house? So thank God I wasn't a carrier and I didn't have none of the threats, so we could work it out. But if I was a carrier, we could not get married. Imagine Miss Olivia and a viewer, that's somebody I really loved. Like I told, we met
Exactly.
for 3 months and we got married after 5 months. So I really loved him in a way that it scared me, but at the same time, I was so happy that I was relieved of it. I didn't
Mm.
have it. But imagine that I had it. What do you think I should have done? Is to let go. It's hard, but I had to let him go. But fortunately, he wasn't. I wasn't a carrier. He was a carrier, so we got married. And now, like Mr. Dr. Tebow was saying, and Miss Olivia, we don't want to put the burden on the kids. Now I have my son and my daughter, they're carriers. So it's my place as a parent to tell my daughter, Heidi, that's her name, like, if you want to get married, please do your test because if she gets somebody who is a carrier, they're going to have a sickle cell patient, a sickle cell baby. And we all know what I wanted Mr. Tebow to really explain it to a lot of viewers in a way, but I can try. When you both have sickle cell patient, I know most of us have seen them. We're like, oh, that's sick one them. That's how we call
Mm-hmm.
them in Africa. Because they always sick, sick.
Always sick.
They, most people narrate to them like Obanje kids. Back in Africa, we really don't know about that, but yeah, they are sick. They are not obanje, they are not bad kids. They are sick. So a sickler is always skinny, always crying of pain, always wanting oxygen. Imagine Dr. Teboh was talking about oxygen. They can't breathe. They need oxygen. Their blood is not having enough oxygen to make them survive. So their joints are gonna be hurting. They're always gonna be in pain. They never grow well. They either have a big tummy. You think it's a kwashako, it's not a kwashako baby. Or they're so skinny, you think it's AIDS. It's not. We don't want to put them, they're always in the hospital. You, the parent or the mom, will never have a life. So, like Mr. Dr. Tebo is saying, yes, those are checklists. You want this handsome girl, handsome boy. But I think in the medical way, it's good to go check it out because that one stays in the long run. Let me tell you, grow old. I wasn't like this when I was young. So if I get my husband wasn't the way he was when he was young. Now he's so different. So, but the sickness, the illness is gonna stay there. It's not going. It's not gonna fade out because it's getting old. The sickness stays there. So please, I think the most important thing we should do is go first for the medical point of view if you love somebody, and then when it's good, then you can start building more love for that person. Don't build love for that person and then you get all these results and then you're so mad. You're trying to compensate the love, you're trying to compensate the like, but you're forgetting what is coming in the long run, which is going to be hurtful in the relationship because each partner is going to blame that person. You knew it, why didn't you stop it? You knew it. So please stop it at this point before it's too late. So, Miss Olivia, I don't know, now that Dr. Tebow is not around, I know you mentioned other thing like Bino. I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Reka. Yeah, I think we talked about the albino. Let me take this comment. Um, all right, we have a comment from Mr. Fortem Gilbert. He says this is a very sensitive topic that affects most African marriages, a condition never to experience by any family. Thank you so much for that. Exactly what we're talking about. It affects a lot of marriages, especially if you didn't do the test before getting married. So that's what Mr. Reta was talking about. Like you love this guy so much, and you go there, and that's what happens. And you are so frustrated, but rather than having a very sad home, because I don't think any parent will be happy to have a sick kid, rather than having a very sad home, it's better you both, you part ways. You go get maybe get somebody else that you might try to love like the previous guy, but you're gonna find some peace because you're having this kid right now. You know very well that this kid is going to be sick, and you feel guilty at times as a parent because when you're going in and out of the hospital every day, you're asking yourself, why didn't I just stay away? Why didn't I just say no to this guy? Like, we can't get married. But again, like Mr. Fortem said, it's a very sensitive topic, especially in the African homes, because we don't go to the hospital. If cough do you, if you can wipe a pawpaw or pawpaw leaf sometimes, or you take mentolanto, small no be sick, put it inside water, cover your head, and that will be good if you have cat and cough. So we don't go to the hospital. So this is something that is a very a topic that we need to talk about it regularly. And now that we can, we'll use the internet. You parents to talk to your kids, talk to your family
Yeah.
members, anybody that you have the chance to talk to. If your little niece, nephew, or someone comes and say, "Hey, I'm getting married," say, "Hey, how did you do it? Did you all go to the hospital?" So this is it's now it's time for us. So while I was talking, I talked about HIV. I know right now, growing up, there was a very big stigma around
Mhm.
an HIV patient. I swear. If
Mhm.
you hear that somebody is
Mhm.
having HIV in this house, and you don't want to touch a spoon in that house
Yes.
because you are just so scared it's just going to jump from that person to his spoon that he ate and then comes to you. But right now, looking, doing research and reading and listening to stories, people have kids with HIV. HIV patients, they have kids. They take up these kids. These kids grow up. But a point that we're trying to bring out today is that you have to know that this person is HIV positive before you get into that relationship, right? You especially if you are a carrier too, because you don't just walk into it and then by the time you have a kid and then the doctor say, okay, this child is HIV positive. I don't know how that works. I don't know how the test is done. That's why we had a doctor on our platform today. Unfortunately, his internet is not going well. But at that point, you're like, but doctor, I'm not a carrier. How does this happen? Before you say, oh, maybe it's your husband or maybe it's your wife that has it. It's going to bring so much distrust in that relationship, right? You're gonna be so mad, like, oh, you knew that you had it. Why didn't you tell me? And stuff like that. It's going to
Mm-hmm.
be just like our viewer was saying. It affects a lot of marriages. So how do we avoid it? We go back to what we've said at the beginning. Go to the hospital. I know it's expensive back home. I know those tests. Maybe they'll tell you, hey, that test may be there for Bamenda or where you have to go all the way to Douala. You have to go to the We understand how it works because we
Mm-hmm.
have been there. Let nobody fool you that maybe we crossed over. We're in the US. We don't understand how it works. We know how it works. But trust me, those few coins that you spend, that money that you spend to do those tests or do that traveling or try to get it right, you are going to be happy with it for a very, very long time in your life. I think I see Dr. Teboh.
Oh,
Let me see if I can pull him in again. Dr. Teboh,
Tebow has been for
we got it. We understand, and we're just telling our viewers that we all understand that it's a network problem. So, but before you when you drop me, Sarita was trying to explain how
the
I think
network
a sickle cell.
is before.
Okay, okay. So we were hoping you could tell us more about. Let me just ask you this question in this way. So a sickle cell patient, like a baby, how do you cope with a child like that? Do you have tests that are you regularly on medications, tests, or therapy? How do parents, because we're talking here, we're trying to avoid cases like this, but we know we have viewers that might have those cases at home already.
mhm.
So how do you cope? How do you manage it?
Yeah, actually, children who develop such conditions with constant follow-up by medic, then we always recommend that place them on rich iron diet that's both their blood percent. Do that, there are some foods that we recommend those kind of children, but those above 5 years up, those five will be managed by the parents who are closer to their locality. But for those who are above 5 and those foods that are rich in iron, like spinach, like beets, these are foods that are rich in iron that will boost them, improve on their blood percentage. And also, they should have some regular checks by their medic because we don't always like to commend parents to play the role of medical doctor, but you can generally do some decision in terms of diet to boost their blood percentage.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Thibault. Ms. Oliva, if you don't mind, I think he mentioned like the diets and constant taking them to the hospital, getting the iron diet. In Africa, I know we do with Jama Jama. We have green. We have a lot of green leaf vegetables there. So that's exactly what Dr. Thibault was saying. Thank you so much, Doctor, for that. And also, like Miss Olivia was asking, I know that based on the baby. What about the parents? Do they have to go through a therapy? You know, it's I don't want to use the word damaging, but it's mentally you're
Exercise.
not yourself when you know you have a baby like that. So what do you think about the parents? What can they do for themselves, to keep it going, to take care of the baby, even though and then take care of themselves too?
Hello?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, I
Can you
hear
hear
you, Doctor.
can you hear us? Did you hear my question, please? Hello,
Dr. Tebo,
doctor.
if you can hear us, Miss Ereka asked if the parents of a sick baby or a sickle cell
Yeah,
baby, what they need to do. Wow.
Sorry
Okay.
about that, viewers. Like I was just asking him. He talked about the kids, Miss Olivia. Have you heard like the health wise spinach and all that? So I was like, on
Mhm.
the parents' own side of view, how can they cope with that? I know
I
it's
think
different, yeah, with most
I think
parents.
yeah, I think you. I know, like I said, I'm going back to you because I know you're in the health field. I know it's never easy going through that. Most hospitals will advise the parents to go through therapy.
Hmm.
Therapy is not something that is common back home from where we come from.
It's
Again,
not. It's not.
going going back uh, to where we come from, it's not something that is common. But there's a lot of therapy back home too. You know, that your grandma in the village that you can go to and talk to and tell grandma that it's not easy. I have to go in and out of hospital and stuff like that. But it just helps to suit you, right? To know that okay, this is what has happened, and I'm praying that any parent that is going through that, don't blame yourself a lot, especially if you did not know, because we don't, like I'll say it again, we don't go to the hospitals. So if you do not know, it's not your fault. You just have to, have the love that you have to give to your kid at that point.
Yes.
Um, I see a question from Miss Molly, but Dr. Teboh dropped again. Miss Molly was asking if it was okay to marry someone with HIV. Mr. Rita, do you have something to say about that?
Thank you, Miss Molly, for that. Yes, I believe I know, like Miss Olivia said, I
Hmm?
remember she talked about this HIV thing that before we didn't even know we can't even eat with the person. If you know the person is in that house, you don't want to go there. It was a stigma. It stayed in so many people. I remember back home in the 90s. Yeah, I think it was in the 90s. Oh my God, that was so rampant. It hurts my heart because I saw a lot of AIDS patients. I saw a lot of dead bodies. I will not lie you. And after that, I think there was a sensitization about it, and then people began to learn how you can cope with it and how you can get it. Remember, they were having this condom thing like Hule a Kwa. They put it.
Yeah.
There's this. We had this. That's the advert. We had those adverts every minute on TV. You remember that, Miss Olivia? And then they will
Mhm.
share condoms everywhere in every house, every household. That was one thing they were using to put protection. And at the same time, I like the advert that they would teach people, be careful, go for a test yourself, know if the person has it or not. And now people are living with it. I know a lot of people that live with AIDS now because there's medication for that. And when you get it on time and you take your medication every day, it's a pill. It's like every day you have to take it. It's part of life. You have to take it till you die. So if you take your rhythm, you stay on your medication, you can have sex. You can have babies. I've seen a lot of people having babies going through that and then even having sex. You wouldn't even know they have AIDS. I think tell you, mama, most of them are they look more healthier than me and you. I look at them like, man, I think I need that medication too for myself,
Yeah.
just to keep myself going. It is right now, I believe I know most foundation. We have the Chantabia Foundation in Yaoundé. It came up when they had this aid thing, I can remember. So we had help from so many countries, from America itself, Europe, Canada. They were giving us help. They were giving us medication. Even some people came to the point that they had to use diapers, and then they shared diapers. So we had a lot of stuff. And right now, we there's this place in Africa, in Cameroon, the General Hospital. The only thing I really don't like, Miss Olivia, is the fact that we still, right now in Africa, still distinguish them. Imagine you go to the hospital, it's like there's a divide. There's a
Mm.
section for people for AIDS, and there's a section for people not for AIDS.
Let
At
me
this
tell you my
century,
story.
my sister, you share am o, because it needed to be heard by these people. How? Because when you come, you go this way left. You're going to the to the patient for AIDS to go take your medication. I don't know why there's still that divide after all the education, and the divide is still coming from the hospital itself. How do you think those people feel when
Thank
they
you.
come? They know they have to. People, everybody have to know they're going to this ward or this section. You still. What killed so many people wasn't the disease itself. It was their belief in them that people don't like them. It's like they had leprosy. Oh, welcome back, Dr. Teboh.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
Dr.
just
Tebow,
saying like on AIDS itself. I don't know. I don't know what you think about that. Miss Molly just asked a question like, can you live with AIDS? Is that it, Miss
marriage.
Olivia?
Okay,
Mary.
no. Okay, yeah. Dr. Tebo, yeah, while you're gathering yourself up, let me just read the comments I have and some of the questions directed to you. So we had one from Miss Molly. Miss Molly says, Doctor, is it okay to marry someone with HIV? So that's what Hereta and I were trying to talk about since you were not on. And she also asks her, how can you know that this person might have an albino genetic? Is there a test for that? Yeah, that were the two questions. But before we take the questions, we have some reactions from our viewers. Let's say we have Mr. Henry Rich. Thank you so much for joining us. He said, more reason why when young people who are about to engage in marriage, they should go and seek for an advice from a doctor so they get all those tests run in order to make them comfortable for childbearing. Thank you,
Mhm.
Mr. Henry. We appreciate that. And he also said those are the sensitization that we need to bring to our young couples rather than engaging into marriage and bringing in kids that will suffer at the end of the day. Thank you, Mr. Henry. So, Dr. Tebo, back to you. Ms. Molly was asking, um, how is it okay? The first one was, is it okay to marry someone with HIV? And then the second one was, how do you know a person has an albino genetic? That is there a test for that?
Okay, first I will come up first with the first question. I'll get married to somebody with HIV, not a taboo nor a major problem. But it be a problem. In such a scenario, first have to ensure that both parties are aware A has HIV and B is not aware. When they get married, it will be serious problem. But if A gets married to B, knowing fully that B is having HIV, you get little or no problem, provided they have good counsel. Counselor is going to counsel them on how they have to carry out their act, sheltering place and indoors act. They will give them counseling on how to manage the individual, manage himself or herself in such a way that the infection will not be transmitted to the second person. And the person who is not sick, who is not having the HIV, is supposed to be there to be supportive. See how the person who is having HIV not have any form of stigma, especially when they have social misunderstanding. Let's say there's a quarrel at home, one person who is well should not take that as an advantage over the person. So the aspect as mitigated, if they are properly cancelled, you will be excluded for if the other person can maintain the chances of transmission. So we always say that before marriage, if you are going in, know that you are going to bear the responsibility of protecting the peace of your partner and also bear the responsibility to ensure that your partner has good health. Because with HIV, once there's negligence, it brings in complications. Negligence in terms of treatment, the therapy, the antiretroviral medication, if you take it consistent as per now, though we have hope for a vaccine coming up in the. As per the second question about our ability test in place of the doctor to determine, that can be determined. It's very simple. You can still understand that without even getting to the hospital. It's not too necessary to go to the hospital. If I'm to get married to a young lady or a woman, generally, I'll need to know the family. If the father of that woman and the mother or the uncle or grandparents, none of them has the ability to have something to worry about. Even if coming from their fourth generation earlier on, it will not affect you if your immediate parents are not affected directly. When I talk like that, I mean somebody can have the gene but minimal in a way that it cannot be transmitted generation that will become dominant. You have recessive. When you have the albino gene in you, then the house is recessive, means that it cannot be seen. The features cannot be seen physically. So we take those into consideration. A doctor can come in place, but it's not necessary. There are some simple tests. You can look from the hair, you can look from the eyes, and you can look from the skin. Albino genes can easily be identified from the eye, from the hair, and from the skin. That's when it is dominant, when you can see the features. Sometimes, if it is excessive, the person can be dark skinned, but the eyes are cat like. So we can also identify, but it's best for the doctor to do that. The medical doctor is responsible for determining that, to determine that when he determines to give it counseling. The albinism does not create major problem other than risk for some like cancer of the skin or some other skin infection alongside blood cancer because those who have albinism who are albinos, we tell them to stay away from UV light,
Mhm.
I mean sunlight from 11 to 3, who has what they need more is the sunlight from 7 to 9 a.m. That one is good because it enhances their skin based on the fact that it contains a lot of vitamin C that will, and that leads to melanin production.
Okay, Dr. Tebow, thank you so much for that. Ms. Molly, I hope that answers your question. I have, Ms. Sharita, before I go to you, I have one question from our viewers. We have a question from Mr. Henry Rich again. He says, I believe getting married to an HIV person nowadays is much easier if both partners know their status. There are illnesses that are more dangerous to engage in marriage, with which I believe is like hepatitis B. And he says, Dr. Temu, can you get married to somebody with hepatitis B?
Yeah, hepatitis B is just a disease like any other, though it's a viral infection.
Mm.
The disease of the fever, so though it's easily transmitted. Now there are vaccines. When you go for the vaccine, you need to have already prevented yourself from having. I have
Okay.
thousands of couples.
I think he phrased.
Yes, but
Mm.
I think what Dr. Tebow is saying that having a vaccine for hepatitis B
Yeah.
helps you
Prevent.
prevent that. So, Mr. Henry Rich, Dr. Tebow is having connection problems, but I hope that answers part of your question as compared to HIV that does not have like a vaccine for it. Okay, he's back.
So like I was saying,
Oh, we're really sorry
we
about
only
that.
have vaccine
Yeah, Miss Olivia, you said it. I hope Mr. Henry gets it. Dr.
Yeah, he
Thibault was,
actually just dropped a comment
yeah,
I like. Okay, he got it. Mhm.
yeah, because the thing about that's another thing, Miss Olivia. Vaccines is so important. It is so important. You know, we Africans don't give vaccines. I believe our vaccines is mostly when the baby is small. We forget that when they start
I,
turning 11, 12, 13, 14, they have other vaccines. And hepatitis B is one of the vaccines in an adulthood. For you to be careful so that when you get married, you're safe. Mr. Henry, thank you so much for that. I think I went, it's just a coincidence. Wednesday, I took my son for his hepatitis B vaccine. And, they have to take them now because they are in the adulthood. So if he messes up, he should be careful.
Mhm. How old is
And
he
also,
now? 13, 12?
he's 12, Mama. I
12,
know you're.
yeah. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
tend to think
He's,
that's the time they give there's one shot for that at 12, yeah.
yes. It's like
Mm.
Mr. Dr. Teboh is coming back. Yes, doctor?
Like I was stated earlier, we have vaccines that we can take for diseases like hepatitis B, hepatitis C,
Yeah.
even disease like human papilloma virus, we have vaccines. So if you are getting married, you have some interest to get married to some people with a dog, you go for the checkup. If your partner is having hepatitis, you have no problem once you get the vaccine. The
Yes.
vaccine will prevent you from having just that you need to be supportive to see that the person who have to have good treatment. Fortunately, we have therapeutic ways of handling that those kind of things. Unlike before, that in classical medicine, we only administer treatment for a short while. So there is no reason for nobody should have worries. Nobody should have worries about my partner have hepatitis. So I'm going to be infected by her or him. Not done. There are vaccines that will take care of that. To protect every other member of the family because you can protect anybody you don't have. But once you have the vaccine, you free from it. You are safe.
Cool. Miss Areta, do you have a
Oh,
comment or do you want me to take one of our
oh,
comments from our
take one,
viewers?
please. Take
Okay.
one.
So we Mr. Harris, thank you so much again for joining
Yeah.
us today. I see you have a lot of questions and points. The last one is the truth is we have all those vaccines in Africa, but there's a price, and it's so costly that our parents could not afford making us to know that those vaccines are unavailable. But they are if you are financially buoyant. That's true. A lot of our parents we're talking about that at the beginning, right? That is costly. That's why some people don't want to go in for those vaccines. And we have Mr. Tamu Cletus joining us all the way from Bamenda, Cameroon. Thank you so much for joining. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. All right, over to you, Mr. Rita.
Yes, Dr. Tebo, thank you so much for that. To be honest, I know you're just simply telling the viewers that before you think of getting married on a relationship, go get your vaccine. Because if you get the vaccine, I don't know if I'm getting myself right. If you get in the relationship and you get that without having the vaccine, or is that what you're trying to explain?
I was saying that it's a necessity, not necessarily those who are, not only for those who are getting married.
Anybody?
Every human who is, every human being have a obligation because you cannot have hepatitis B, for instance, only through sex. You can have it through tax. You can
Okay.
see besides having when you have shaped their body and the sweat of that person can transmit. I have a family where they use one cup to keep their toothbrush and it transmitted, it was transmitted all of them. So it's always good for us to take the precaution even before we get married. It is a necessity, very vital. That's one of the diseases that must check before marriage. And even with people who are pregnant, we have to check them on that to ensure it's not trans.
Thank you so much, doctor, for that. I appreciate it. I really wanted to know the transmission because most people don't know. They just hear it, but they don't know how it's transmitted. Thank you so much. I know, Miss Olivia, that we've been talking about, sickle cell and the other ones. But what about if somebody has gonorrhea, syphilis, and all that? I know. I don't know if in a relationship it's also good to do that, or you have to. It's not really necessary. I don't know what you think about that,
Oh,
No,
doctor.
all those are S, those are S, they
Yeah.
are those are laboratory tests that can be recommended or requested by any even the general medical practitioner would do that.
Okay.
They are basic tests to check when you have to get into a relationship because they are easily done. And the number of individuals are in touch. around there are more compared to like hepatitis, HIV. They have less number of people who are having it. So we always check on that. That's basic test that must check HIV, carry track infection, all of it must be checked. Because if it's left unchecked, can A can contract this an infection and all that can bring fertility issues that will strain the relationship because there are some couples who are not able to have children today as a result of their urinary tract being contaminated with infection that are left on. But notwithstanding, like gonorrhea and syphilis, all those infections can be taken care of with antibiotics. So any doctor, any good medical practitioner or professional will be able to handle that best first.
Okay.
Thank you so much, doctor. Yes, Miss Olivia.
Yeah, I'm just going through our comment sections. Thank you again, viewers. If you're watching us, of course, you're on the Mollie Show. Our topic today is checklist in the relationship. This is our part two, and we're looking at it from a medical point of view. And we have Dr. Teboh Harry with us today. And so we got a thumbs up from Barrister Tamu Cletus. Thank you so much for joining. We have a comment from Miss Julia Young. Mrs. Julia Young, okay. Thank you so much for joining all the way from Edmonton. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining. We have Mr. J. Robert Jr. Thank you for joining. And one more question from Mr. Henry Rich. And he asked, I think we're going back to, I think because the last thing he asked was about hepatitis B. So he asked
Mhm.
that, can you get the vaccine when you are already infected? What do you have to say about Dr. Tebo? Dr. Tebo, I don't know if you got my question.
No, no, don't
Okay,
take
okay,
vaccine. You cannot be
okay,
given the vaccine when you're already infected. We have alternative treatment. Once you're infected, you have alternative treatment. Vaccine is preventive. We give administer vaccine to prevent. Once the disease comes in place, this we have to give have alternative treatment for that.
okay.
So we should
That's a
ensure we
good
get
one
the
to know.
vaccine.
That's a good one to know. So thank you, Dr. Tebo. Ms. Areta, do you have any comments?
Oh, not
I,
really.
I know, yeah. I know, Dr. Tebo, we're not on, we're talking about stigmatization for HIV. I think Ms. Hereta was, giving a very important point. Why is it that, but it's not like a direct question, but we're just, discussing. Why is it that in the hospitals, especially back home, there's a like this, I would say, discrimination, like the HIV patients are in one section and then the general clinic is in another section, making everybody to know that, okay, these people are those people who are infected. I know it's not common in your area, but I've experienced that. I was telling Miss Areta that you don't want to hear my story because again, when we're traveling to the US, we went there and we did the HIV test, and they had to come out with the test like in the list like
Like
this,
a
and
bulletin.
they say
Mm,
we'll call your name if they give you your test, it means say you did fine. And if I call you touching me wait, okay, it means you have to see the doctor. So no privacy or nothing. And then they called my husband first, and he took his paper and he told me that you're on your own. So like I'm there, I'm waiting for my own paper. That's I think it was not cool. So what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
Actually, that is unprofessional. We don't encourage that
Very.
because the privacy of the patient should be priority. So we must ensure that there's maximum privacy for the patient. So we don't encourage that. That should be, I'll call that occupational hazard. Patients who are going pre-cancer, who are about to go for HIV test, to have a pre-counseling. After the counseling, when results come out, they have same procedure of going to get their results. Which means there should be no possibility avenue created whereby an individual will be able to determine even psychologically if somebody is positive or negative. That's the major reason the results should be disclosed only by the doctor himself and no technicians or nurse who is an assistant to the doctor to have that priority or position in the results or interpret the results. We must always keep confidentiality in terms of the doctor or even keep the proof of the results. It should be noted that if two persons come to the doctor, even being couple, we cannot and we are not supposed as professionals to close the result of A without giving permission to the person.
Thank you.
We can
Thank you
only
so
do
much,
that
Dr. Tebow.
upon permission from the person who is sick. A wife has no right to know the husband's state except the husband permits her. But we always try to give
Hmm.
instances that make
Dr.
the
Tebow,
person
I argue that
know
one.
the
Oh.
status of each other. By legal institution telling somebody's result to another person.
Hello, Dr. Tibo. I
Miss
think you're
Erica,
free. Yeah, he's back. Dr. Tibo, Miss Olivia just
Why?
said that
If I
she
may
asked.
ask,
She argues that one that you can't tell me that my husband does not need to know about my
ah,
test. Or
I
she
need to
said she's gonna
know.
argue that one.
I need to know, Dr. Tebow, what do you think that I need to know? If let's say we go
my
to the hospital, we're doing an HIV test
the
together.
husband is not supposed
Okay, let me go back to Dr. Tebow.
Oh, it's like he said the husband is the only one to tell you, but not the medical. Oh, not the doctor. Okay, I get it now.
I'm strong, eh? It's bad, eh?
Yep, yep. Except the two of you are together, but if it comes privately, only the husband can tell you and the wife can tell you.
True. We see it here
Yes,
in HIPAA. There's no way that my husband can just
you're
call the
right.
clinic and ask for my results. Yeah, I have to
Mhm.
be there to, give him that. That's true. But we were doubting if this person tells you the truth or not. I want to be there to understand. But that's what Mr. Henry Rich says. Thank you, Dr. Joe, for that information. It was very important. And then talking about these nurses, or doctors giving out the results like that, he says he called that ignorance. That's all he would say. Because true, that's
Yeah,
big time ignorance. And he says it is called patient to doctor
yeah.
confidentiality, that
Mm,
the doctor cannot disclose someone else's medical records, no matter the circumstances, married or not. Point.
yeah.
Yeah. So the fun I was making about that is, let's say I go to the clinic with my husband or anybody with their partner, and then they don't want to tell us what's going on. Us women want to be picky, want to know what's going on, especially from the doctor. But of course, if it's your husband and your wife and you all went there to have that test, of course he will tell
Mhm.
you what's going on, right? Because that's the main reason you got there. But thank you so much for that comment. And I think
Oh,
we lost Dr. Tabo again. Sarita, what do you think were
yes, I really want him to come back so he can conclude on this. Like, what conclusion does he have? And the viewers, Miss Olivia, you see the viewers, you had a lot of questions on this, and I
mm-hmm,
think I think it's a very important thing. And
mm-hmm,
with what Mr. Dr. Thibault is having, the internet, it's unfortunate,
mm-hmm,
but I know he's one of ours, and I know one day he's gonna come again to like explain a lot about this.
mm-hmm,
So in conclusion, like, and what I can say is go for a checkup. Go for a checkup, please. What you doubt, don't be a doubting Thomas, and tomorrow you're like, oh, I wish I knew when it's too late. So please, viewers, if you're in America or anywhere, like Miss Olivia said, your health is very important. I always say you can't buy money. We work the money, we go for everything, we put our sweat and tears in everything. But why can't we take care of ourselves? Why can't we go for a test and see that we can go forward in life with our partner without any hinge, without any issue. Like we said, Dr. Tebow said, when you get married to that person and in the marriage, you get that person has this, you will be miserable for the rest of your life. You can have the money on edge, you can have whatever thing, kids, but oh, Dr. Tebow, thank you for coming back. You don't mind just telling us, giving on a conclusion, like a roundup of what you've been saying, what is so important for viewers to get from here and try to do
Okay.
before we end.
Okay. Fellow viewers, advice I will give young couples who are about to get themselves together, engaged in that prioritize the aspect of health by going to see a medical professional, not necessarily take their own. That's the mistake most guys they go to make. The doctor is them. And with those who are already having health challenges, who are still getting into a relationship, who tend to not have much worry, they are medical. The doctor will know what there is no circumstance that will expect from them marriage, except there are major issues related to health that has to do with aspects like HIV, hepatitis, and not in the ninth to the eighth, seventh year, we are thinking that people with certain are not compatible. Do the checks, just know our very
Thank you so
Yes, Miss
much.
Olivia. Hmm.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tebo. We have a comment from Doris. Rich girl, she
Rich.
says this is awesome. Thank you so much, uh, Miss Doris, for always joining. We do appreciate you, and thank you so much to all our viewers. Please,
Amen.
even if you're coming in, that the show is about to end, please still drop your comments in the comment section. We'll take them. Dr. Tebo will view some of them. He can answer some of them for you as he
Yeah.
follows our page too. All right.
and the tip for those girls, those young ladies who are waiting for relationship, the tip for
Oh,
them is
courtship.
stop stop their intake of milk, soya bean and corn products. Milk, soya bean and corn.
Wow.
Statistics has confirmed that those foods are containing high level of phytoestrogen that provokes fibroids and ovarian cysts. That is one of the common complications.
Oh,
Many women cannot have children because of high
yeah.
rate of yogurt, milk, and stuff like that. To boost fibroids, you need boost the estrogen level. And when there's estrogen level, those are some of the things that can
Wow.
prevent them.
And Miss Harita, do you know that that's something that we ignored? When we're talking about that, we do not talk about childbearing and all that. Dr. Tebas just brought it at the end. Like those
Thank
is
you
checklists in
so much.
relationship.
Wow. Thank you so much, doctor, for that. I wrote it down because I love corn fufu. I'm from Com. I'm part of Com, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
They want to have my come for womb. Well, that will
You
eat
have
the.
you have to that
I know. Thank you so much, doctor. Like Miss Olivia was saying, we want to thank the viewers. We want to thank you, doctor, so much. We really appreciate you and your family for the time and effort you've been putting in this show. And I told the viewers, this topic is so important, doctor, because many people are giving in questions. So I know there'll be time you're gonna come again to talk something on this because health is so important.
Very.
So doctor, we really appreciate you from the bottom of our heart. Please thank your wife, your kids, your family that led you to like keep doing what you're doing for the people back there in Cameroon. Like you've been saying before, you have a clinic, they can contact you. We're gonna put this contact in the show, Miss Olivia. If doctor doesn't mind, gonna put a flyer for who he is, what he does. You guys can contact him. I've really learned a lot from that, and I'm really nice. I'm really happy to see you, Miss Olivia. Please.
Okay. So I think we're coming to the end of our show, Miss Harita, Dr. Tebo again. Miss Harita has said it all. Thank you. We cannot thank you enough. And to all our viewers that we had today, oh, Mr. Table dropped again. Okay. And to all our viewers that we had today, thank you so much. We had new viewers that we have not met on our show.
Oh,
Thank you so much for joining. Please don't forget, we always we celebrate our what bi-monthly, twice a month, right? We go on
yes,
live on our Facebook page. We also have YouTube page, TikTok, we have Instagram, and we go on live here on our YouTube and Facebook page. So if you have someone and you say, please, I want you to watch the Mollie Show, and the person says, oh, I'm not on Facebook, the person can join us on YouTube. It's the same thing. You are still going to, enjoy our videos. And again, if you have something that you want us to discuss,
oh
Miss Henrietta is here, Miss Olivia is here, and Miss Molly, who was absent today for personal reasons. Please, drop it in our inbox or drop it in the inbox of the Molly Show page. And whenever you feel like a topic that has been bothering you, something that's happening to your family, your sibling, yourself, friends, and you want us to talk about it, you have to remain anonymous. Trust me. Drop it
yes,
again in our inbox, and we're going to talk about it. You can show up with your family and friends, and let's talk about that topic. And remember, this is viewers discretion,
yes.
18 years and above, because we know everybody's on Facebook nowadays. It can be someone
Mm,
who is younger and might not be so intrigued by our topic. So we're saying it again, viewers discretion is advised for 18 years and above. I see Mrs. Julia Young says again, thanks guys. I learned a lot today. Thank you, Miss Julia, for joining. And we have Miss Molly Abunga who says, thank you, Dr. Tebo. I know Dr. Tebo is watching, and unfortunately, his internet was really crappy today. It happened even with us here in the US. It's not only in Cameroon. So, but hopefully next time when he's here, it's going to be better. And if you want us to come back for checklist in relationship,
oh,
because
yes.
there's a lot more. I was surprised Dr. Tebo brought in something just at the conclusion. Childbearing, we do not even think about that. We were
We
going
did
to,
not.
yeah. So if you want us to still talk about this topic, hey, let us know and we'll talk about it. Of course, that's why we're here. And Ms. Sarita, any words for our viewers?
No, really, just thank you. Like Miss Olivia, thank you all so much for joining us. And please keep the questions coming because we're here because you guys are out there. To be
Mhm.
honest with you all, if you guys were not there, we'll not be here. So we're like a servant leader. Anything you want, give it to us. We'll be pleased and happy to help you. It has helped a lot of people. And I tell you, whatever thing you have, you think is not going to help somebody, is going to help that person. So Miss Olivia said, go to our inbox, send us any question, anything you want us to discuss, and we'll be here for you. And also, you can also be a viewer. You can also be a guest in our
Yes.
show if you want to. So
Yes.
just get into our inbox, and I tell you, you're gonna have fun like we do every 2 weeks. So
Right.
it's from the Molly Show, Miss Olivia and I, and a lady that is absent. Bye and have a blessed day. See you all.
Bye.
Bye.